What's happening, YouTube? I'm Andrew, and today I'm breaking down my top 10 favorite board games if you like a certain movie. I've done this once before. We're doing part 2. Let's get to the list. My number 1 is for all you Star Wars fans out there. Now, there are a plethora of great Star Wars board games, but my personal favorite pick that makes me feel like I'm in the Star Wars universe is Star Wars Outer Rim from Fantasy Flight. Now, this takes a look at the bounty hunter side of things as you are a starfaring pilot venturing around different planet systems, trying to collect bounties, accomplish missions, find new items and relics, upgrading your ship, getting new crew, and it's that free-form sandbox adventure of going all over the galaxy that makes me feel that Star Wars feel. You also have the Empire and the Hutts and the Rebels that you can ally with, and so many different iconic characters from across the series that you can pick up, you can battle, you can deliver for a bounty, and all sorts of planets you can visit. Now, I'm gonna say a lot of critics might suggest Star Wars Rebellion. They call it Star Wars in a box if you want a 1v1 type war game where you're controlling the entire Empire or Rebellion. But for me, it's a little too complex for most people I play with. So my personal pick for a Star Wars board game, if you like the movies, are to go with Outer Rim. Next movie to suggest a board game for is The Godfather. In my opinion, the greatest 2 parts of a 3-part trilogy where it absolutely crashed and burned at the end. But if you want that mafia gangster movie feel in a board game, I would say look no further than Nothing Personal, designed by the Dice Tower's Tom Vasel. This is a game where you each control a mafia family, and it is rife with negotiation, as you are going to hire different members of the mob to fulfill different positions, trying to work your crews up the ladder and gain influence over certain mobsters, use their special abilities, whack off other mobsters, collect money, get bribes, negotiate with other players, and this is a really party game atmosphere with a lot of strategy. You need people that are going to negotiate, they're going to bribe, that are going to have a lot of fun, and if you do, it unlocks the amazingness that is Nothing Personal. A lot of the critics might suggest Godfather, Corleone's Empire, an actual dudes on a map area control game from Eric Lang and CMON, where you're bringing around different mobsters trying to control different areas of the city, dropping car bombs and taking out other gangsters. But for me, I like being able to role play and get that mafia feel in Nothing Personal. That's why it makes it my personal pick for a Godfather movie board game. Next movie is the Halloween franchise, but really any horror killer slasher movie could fulfill under this category, where I think Terrorscape is my personal pick for representing these types of movies, where you get this actual giant 3D mansion. One person plays a killer who has a unique deck, and they're going to be moving around the mansion, castle, or wherever you're playing, trying to take out the survivors. You, as the survivors, are going to be a group of 1 to 3 trying to make it out of the mansion swamp, wherever you might find yourself, trying to either radio the police by repairing the radio and making a call, waiting for them to pick you up, or trying to get enough keys to make it out the exit, or find a secret map and making it out of the hidden exit. A very, very simple, streamlined game, but because you don't always know what the killer's gonna do and the killer doesn't know where you are, it gets that tense suspense feeling of a horror movie and really accentuates the personality of the killer and the survivors, as you can mix and match different ones each and every time, making Terrorscape my go-to Halloween type movie game to play. A lot of the critics will suggest Final Girl, but for me, I'm not a big solo player, but if you happen to be, Final Girl is an excellent horror movie, slasher killer type movie game to play. My personal pick is Terrorscape. My next movie that I'm going to suggest a game for is any of the DC movies. I'm going to especially shout out the Dark Knight trilogy. In my opinion, the best DC superhero movie to watch. Now, a lot of people might point to The Dark Knight Returns, the game, which is a very, very well acclaimed solo board game, but once again, I don't really play solo board games. So for me, I gotta go with Batman the Animated Series Adventures. specifically the core box Shadow of the Bat. Now, the company that made this went under, so it might be a little bit difficult to find, but you might be able to find it on the cheap. But this takes that acclaimed television animated series a lot of us grew up with and brings it to the tabletop as you, as hopefully Batman or Robin, Batgirl, Commissioner Gordon, or any of the other heroes in this series take on all of the acclaimed villains, whether it be Joker, Two-Face, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and each and every scenario you play as you move your characters around a grid and a map against all these different villains is unique. Also, the villains have a unique deck as someone can actually control them in a one versus many, or you can play an AI deck and make it cooperative. It has all these different minions that you can play with the villains. They all work differently. The heroes work differently with gadgets and special abilities, and you roll these dice, sharing the dice as symbols. It can be a little complex versus a lot of the games I recommend and play. But if you want to dive head into feeling like a DC superhero, look no further than Batman, the animated series, The Adventures. Jumping off of that, if you like to cowabunga and are a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, look no further than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. Made by the same company, the same system as Batman the Animated Series Adventures, but this time you're going to be playing as those heroes in a half shell, taking on Shredder, Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, Baxter Stockman, and all of the other villains of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles world. Be sure to get the Changes Constant box to pick up the Turtles. You can also get additional expansions, and it's that similar vibe of you're exploring the city of New York in different scenarios, trying to take out unique villains with unique decks. You can either do one versus many or cooperative. All the heroes are unique with their own unique set of dice, and you share those symbols to do actions in a very fun cooperative or one versus many experience. If you're looking for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles board game, I would look no further than TMNT Adventures Change is Constant. My next movie series to shout out might not always be the most critically acclaimed, but it is a fan favorite of myself and many others, and this is Fast and the Furious. And here I'm going to actually suggest an official Fast and the Furious game, and that is Fast and the Furious Highway Heist. The way this game worked is you are going to take the members of the Fast and Furious crew and be driving your cars in a cooperative adventure, trying to take down a unique scenario, maybe taking out a helicopter or any other type of the three unique scenarios. This is a pretty simple game, a very thematic game. You're going to feel like the Fast and Furious with maybe not the most replayability, but for a cheap game from Prospero Hall and Funko, to get three awesome, unique scenarios and feeling like Fast and Furious, I think that is worth your money. Now, a lot of the critics, including me, might suggest Thunder Road Vendetta. It's a little more expensive, a little more complex and involved, but if you're looking for a cheap, awesome feeling Fast and Furious game, look no further than Highway Heist. Next movie series is a personal favorite of mine. Every Christmas, you know we're watching Harry Potter, and Hogwarts Battle Behind Me brings that flavor in spades, as they actually took the stills from the movies and incorporated them into cards in a tasteful way. This is a deck building game where you'll actually play through each year of them being at Hogwarts, each movie or book. And you're gonna actually get to be the main heroes. You'll get to build and learn the new spells and get the different allies from all the different books and movies and play against new villains each and every time, making better and better decks, taking out bigger and bigger challenges. And it is a lot of fun to play through with some fellow Harry Potter fans, just throwing out quotes left and right and enjoying the Harry Potter universe. Look no further for a Harry Potter board game than Hogwarts Battle. All right, next movie franchise I'm gonna shout out is Pirates of the Caribbean. And if you want that swashbuckling pirate flavor, I would look to Forgotten Waters. This also adds that humorous element that Pirates of the Caribbean has from the legendary Captain Jack Sparrow, in that each of you are gonna be creating your own unique pirate in a kind of choose your own adventure Mad Libs kind of way, and you're gonna be going through a unique story scenario where there are actual moments where there are these crossroads events. You'll make decisions that will affect later on events in the game, and you'll be venturing around on this ship, going to different locations, and each of you doing different tasks in real time, getting these awesome story passages read aloud from the app, and experiencing a storytelling adventure almost unlike any other. I would highly recommend, if you like story games and Pirates of the Caribbean, to check out Forgotten Water. Ninth movie is Jaws, and I'm gonna suggest the board game called Jaws. Just like Fast and Furious Highway Heist, this is from Prospero Hall and this time Ravensburger. And in this game, you are going to be cooperatively trying to take out the shark. You're gonna play survivors, first run around the island as the shark circles, and then it's gonna switch to a second part where you're on the boat. The shark is trying to take the survivors out, and it brings that feeling of the movie to life in a pretty simple cooperative experience that is a lot of fun. Jaws, the ultimate Jaws board game. Finally, I'm gonna shout out Back to the Future, another old school classic, and I would look to Back to the Future back in time to get the ultimate Back to the Future experience in another cooperative game from the Prospero Hall and Funko. I think they are the kings of making thematic movie tie-in games, and I am sorry that they are no longer making games. But in this game, you get to venture around Happy Valley? I don't remember the name of the town, but you're gonna venture around that town with all of the heroes from the movie. You're gonna try to get his parents to fall in love, fix the DeLorean, and get Biff the heck out of here in a very challenging but fun and thematic cooperative experience with great art and production at a cheap price point. Back to the Future, Back in Time, a great Back to the Future movie board game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I never expect anyone to watch. I always appreciate when you guys do. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And with all that being said, I'm going to catch you guys on the flip side.